Part 28. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 271. After obtaining the second body of the King of Insects, Xiaoming has undoubtedly become stronger. Especially in terms of mental strength. Then there are also multiple choice questions. The most important question is, should we take the body of the King of Insects back to Pangu Star? This is of course not to say to take the spaceship of the New Han Kingdom back. Who can wait for 20 years? Besides, aren't you afraid of being dissected by the New Han Kingdom? The method to be used here is to use telekinesis. Xiaoming's original telekinesis ability did not have this business. However, after Xiaoming mastered the true 1.2 use, he became able to do it. The method is also quite strange. True 1.2 use allows Silver Xiaoming and Green Xiaoming to summon the same type of uniform telekinetic beasts at the same time. Xiaoming had experimented a long time ago whether he could summon two uniformed butlers and then get two butler spaces. One of them is Guangmingding, and the other one he still remembers is called Kunlun. However, when the two telekinetic beast butlers were summoned at the same time, they opened the same butler space Guangmingding. There were just two different entrances and exits. Xiaoming calls them the front door and the back door. With these two doors, Xiaoming's body can move across galaxies. The specific method is to open the front door on Pangu Star and the back door on Nuwa Star. Then Xiaoming on Pangu Star can enter Guangmingding from the front door and go out from the back door to reach Nuwa Star. But Xiaoming has never dared to really do this. He must do some experiments first. What if Zhang Xiaoming arrives at Nuwa Star and the front door disappears? Wouldn't he never be able to go back to Pangu Star again? Therefore, Xiaoming must first experiment in the game. The explorer's statue in the game has the function of teleporting people. If you can't go back, you can use the statue to send people back. The result of the experiment is, the time each door exists is the time the uniform butler can exist, that is, it depends on how much telekinesis the uniform butler is endowed with. In the past, Xiaoming was always not far away from the summoned butler, so he could replenish the butler's telekinesis at any time. The butler's telekinesis has never been consumed to the point where there is nothing left. If we change to another galaxy or universe, we really can't support the housekeeper's telekinesis. In order to replenish the housekeeper's telekinesis, Xiaoming must be in Guangmingding at least, even if he is not in the same space with the housekeeper. In other words, the opening of the front door and the back door is time limited. Normally, a uniform housekeeper can support about 24 hours. If the continuous supply of telekinesis can be guaranteed, Xiaoming can really travel to other galaxies. Just keep the housekeeper's telekinesis on Pangu Star from running out. And there are more interesting things. After combining the uniform telekinesis beast and the clone ninjutsu, each soul of Xiaoming can summon 3 uniform telekinesis beast clones of the same type. In other words, Guangmingding not only has the front door and the back door, but also the left and right side doors, and even the skylight and the tunnel. A total of 6 entrances and exits. This is really fun. If Xiaoming wants, he can scatter the 6 housekeepers all over the universe, and he will make a lot of money from interstellar tourism in the future. Xiaoming thought about his personality and decided to forget it, because he might really forget it. Since this ability exists, Xiaoming has no need to bring the second body back to Pangu Star, which would be a place without fun. However, if the Zerg King stays in the Chu galaxy, he will still take certain risks. This is not as safe as Pangu Star. Danger comes from all directions. Humans are the enemy of the Zerg. Maybe at any time, the New Han Space Army will attack once, and he will be killed by accident. Zergs are not necessarily friends. From the knowledge learned from the spiritual sea, it is known that there are also struggles within the Zerg. The Zerg itself advocates struggles within the rules. The ancestors of the Zerg believed that this would be more beneficial to the development of the Zerg, and the entire tribe would not degenerate. This is more like the orcs in the game. But it is more cruel than the orcs. The internal struggle of the orcs generally takes the form of a one-on-one fight. The internal struggle of the Zerg is a group fight, and the casualties will be more severe. In addition to humans and Zerg, there are many indigenous creatures in the sheltered area that threaten the Zerg. Just like humans have ruled the surface of Pangustar, but there are still people who are accidentally poisoned by venomous snakes, eaten by lions, killed by hippos, and bitten by sharks. The Zerg is a race that advocates challenges, so they will not kill all the wild animals in the territory. The Zerg regards these indigenous creatures as their touchstone. Zerg are almost always killed by indigenous creatures. Zerg often advance by defeating powerful indigenous creatures. In terms of self-challenging, Zerg are better than humans. But Xiaoming, whose body is a Zerg but whose soul is a human, is in an awkward situation. He wants to stay, but he is a little afraid of death. But Xiaoming has Guangmingding, so he can retreat at any time. Safety is basically guaranteed. Besides, he must learn all 6 mental skills. Alas, people are always greedy. Xiaoming thought about it and decided to leave this area first. This is the territory of other Zergs, and it is still a bit close to the periphery. In order to avoid being easily destroyed by the new Han Kingdom, Xiaoming decided to go deep into the inner area. At this time, Mao Moer also drove over 2 of the 8 new Han Kingdom space probes, prepared to explore the interior of the shielded area. These 2 detectors cannot be openly connected to the Zerg King, so Xiaoming stuffed them into the Bright Summit. He will wait for an opportunity to release them later. While both souls are there, under the effect of the 6th level advanced mental power, no Zerg can give him orders. Xiaoming left the asteroid and flew to the interior of the Chu galaxy. It was the first time for the flesh body to fly in space, and it felt very cool and the posture was also very chic. But to be honest, the speed was really not very good. This speed is considered high speed on the surface of the planet, but it is relatively slow in space. Moreover, the route is not familiar. Xiaoming wants to fly by himself, and he doesn't know how long it will take to find a foothold. It's really too much. Yin Xiaoming had to temporarily evacuate this body and return to the game cabin. As soon as his front foot evacuated, the mental power of other Zergs connected with the back foot. We can only roughly translate this kind of mental communication. Hello, new overlord. I am very honored that such a powerful overlord like you was born in my jurisdiction. Your mental power has suddenly dropped a lot. Are you injured? The Zerg with mental power level 6 is the strongest active in the Zerg for the time being. Let's call them overlords. The one who connected Xiaoming was the overlord of the Zerg's jurisdiction. He was a level 6 primary Zerg. Xiaoming had not yet learned to distinguish what kind of soldier he was. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 272. Before, Xiaoming's spiritual power was at the advanced level of level 6, which was quite scary, so the master of this area did not dare to communicate with Xiaoming spiritually. Although they were at the same level, the suppression of the advanced level on the low level should not be underestimated. The local master was a little worried that this newborn master would not be very sensible. If he gave random orders, he would be in trouble. Now that this high-level master has been reduced to the primary level, he dared to take the initiative to contact. Later, Xiaoming also learned that when the Zerg was just born, it was the most unstable time for spiritual power. It was most common for people like Xiaoming to start very high and then decrease. On the contrary, there were also people who started low and then exploded. There were even those who fluctuated up and down all year round. Therefore, Xiaoming's situation would not arouse the suspicion of other Zerg. Xiaoming was very suspicious of those who fluctuated up and down. Maybe they were a guy who traveled through time and was reborn. Facing the concern of the local master, Xiaoming replied with a grunt through mental communication. I am not injured, but my mental power is not stable. I want to find a place without a master and establish my own jurisdiction. Hearing Xiao Ming's answer, the other party was very relieved. The new master is not a reckless guy. So he took the initiative to remind Xiao Ming. Except for the masters with faster flying speeds, other masters generally do not fly in space by themselves. You can directly summon the flying soldiers of the Zerg to travel. For example, the squid worms and jellyfish worms that Xiao Ming had seen before, their flying speeds are faster than the Zerg King. Xiao Ming also thought of this matter, and he actually wanted to summon low-level flying Zerg to take him flying. But this is in the jurisdiction of other insects, and he can't summon the Zerg that has been spiritually marked by other masters. On the other hand, it was also his first time flying in space, and he was very excited. That feeling was quite good. Knowing Xiao Ming's problem, the master took the initiative to send a small team of 10 level 3 flying dragons to Xiao Ming for travel. The speed of the flying dragon is quite fast. However, this kind of flying dragon is not suitable for transporting troops, but it is just right to be used as a mount. Moreover, he also erased his spiritual imprint on this team of flying dragons, so that Xiao Ming could leave his own imprint, and from then on they were Xiao Ming's subordinates. Xiao Ming gave him 24 thumbs up in his heart. This master is really a good bug. Later, he learned that this is actually the basic etiquette between Zerg masters. A new master was born in your jurisdiction. As long as he does not actively challenge you, you should definitely send a small team of soldiers to show your appreciation. Leave one thing today, so that we can meet again in the future. The image of the flying dragon, a Zerg soldier, is very similar to the dragon in Western legends, the kind of big lizard with a pair of wings. However, the flying dragon's head is not a lizard head, but a scary insect head, with a mouth full of fangs protruding outward. There are also many bone spurs on the body. Just looking at the shape of the flying dragon, his wings are obviously suitable for flying in the atmosphere. To fly in space, it seems that he should rely on his tubular tail to spray backwards. But after flying, I found out that it was not the case. They also flap their wings when flying in space. What is the principle? Xiao Ming was puzzled. Not only did Xiao Ming not understand, but the scientists of the New Han Kingdom also met flying dragons, and they did not understand the principle of flying dragons flying in space. If this principle can be figured out, the space technology of the New Han Kingdom will take a big step forward. The advanced level 3 mount under Xiao Ming's crotch is the leader of this group of flying dragons. He is an advanced soldier of flying dragons, Devourer. From the image, it can be seen that the Devourer is a large flying dragon, and its face is more hideous and terrifying. The flying speed is also faster. With the flying dragon as a means of transportation, Xiao Ming's cruising speed is n times faster. The efficiency of finding insect-free areas is also improved. By the way, because there is no air resistance in space, the flying speed of these space-flying soldiers in the atmosphere will be much lower. In the past 2 days, Yin Xiaoming has been alone in the magic planet. He is very busy. Fortunately, Xiao to Xiao Wu helped. The whole town of Limestone Town was alarmed because the ancient giant octopus moved very close to the town. However, the characteristics of the sea people are that they are very friendly to this very powerful individual creature. Or it can be said that they admire it very much. Humans are different. If there is a tiger on a nearby mountain or a dragon in a cave, the first reaction of humans is to kill him first. Tigers and dragons will eat people, and the powerful creatures of the sea people will also eat the sea people. There is no difference between the two sides. Limestone Town soon discovered that it was an ancient giant octopus that controlled the forbidden area. This was of course said by the little octopus Bobby. This giant octopus posed no threat to Limestone Town, and even became a barrier on one side of Limestone Town. The officials of Limestone Town no longer cared about this giant octopus. Xiao Ming suspected that this giant octopus might have used some means of mental influence. In addition, the Sea People discovered that the adults of the Sea People could not enter the forbidden area, but the children could. The big octopus is not against the children of the Sea Tribe at all. So the children of Greystone Town go to the forbidden area to explore and search for treasure almost every day. It is safe and fun. The dangers encountered by the diver, Emily, and Bobby are because their goal is the shipwreck. So the octopus boss must tease them. That is, in the future, when they go to the shipwreck again, they will still be tested. Other children of the Sea Tribe are not qualified to enter the shipwreck, and they can't even see the shipwreck. With such fun things, how could Emily, the king of children, sit still? She often took her children to swim to the forbidden area to play. So the time that the divers spent watching the store for the little girl was obviously longer. Xiao Ming simply moved Emily's jewelry store to his own Temple of Light. Emily also became the first believers of the Temple of Light with a group of children. However, these children of the Sea Tribe obviously don't know what faith is. They completely regard the Temple of Light as another base for playing. It is also a good place for them to hide treasures. Many things that they dare not hide at home are stuffed into the Temple of Light. They even often play hide and seek and games in the temple. The whole temple is full of children's laughter and noise every day. Xiao Ming was a little speechless when he saw it. His temple was almost becoming a nursery in Greystone Town. It was still free. Moreover, the parents of the Sea Tribe were very generous. If they were in the temple, they would not care if their children did not go home at night. Divers not only need to be taken care of, but also fed. Xiao Ming's spending speed in the underwater limestone town has increased significantly. However, he just made a fortune, so he doesn't care about this little money. In his heart, he is still very happy. Xiao Ming doesn't want to turn his temple into a very serious place. It's good to be a nursery. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 273. After David Diozzi became a general, the diver also brought him to the adventure map. In fact, heroes can also be brought to the adventure map, but after becoming a general, his degree of freedom will be lower. Due to the seal, David's adventure level is a level 3 full-level swordsman. It's just right for the diver to be a bodyguard. With his heart in the hands of the diver, David dare not do anything naughty. The diver's Temple of Light is not just a nursery for the Sea People. The temple is the territory of the gods and is almost not under the jurisdiction of the town. The diver opened a large grocery store in the temple and turned Emily's jewelry store into an exquisite counter in the grocery store. He also hired 3 fishermen NPC assistants to take care of it. Finally, he doesn't have to take care of it all the time. The goods purchased by the other 3 characters from all over the world don't need Xiao Ming to go door to door to sell them. They are all sold in the temple. Because the researcher became the admiral, the goods he bought in Xinluo City cannot be sold by the other 3 characters, even 1/30 of them. Most of the goods can only be sold by the researcher himself, leading the fleet to other ports. This is because the researcher is only a junior admiral and the purchase volume is not large enough. Don't forget that there are a bunch of little troublemakers who often visit the diver's grocery store. Those sea children take whatever they like and don't pay at all. But they don't take much, so the diver asked them to deliver the goods on his behalf and paid them. These children became the first couriers in Greystone Town. The researcher repaired 5 large warships and appointed one of the large Spanish sailing ships as his flagship. 5 warships are the limit for a junior admiral. If you bring more ships, you must have a general as the captain. For the time being, only Lin Shen is with the researcher. And Lin Shen is also the flagship because he was appointed as the adjutant by Xiao Ming. Later, Lin Shen was responsible for hiring sailors, assembling ships, replenishing supplies, purchasing goods, and other chores. What did the researcher do? He went to ask for a long vacation. When the researcher went out to see his transformation, the half-orc Saeed could not appear. Although Saeed was very idle in the Kun Chamber of Commerce, he still had to go out to sea once every Sunday. He needed to trade with the pirates of Ladeo. On Sunday, the researcher drove a medium-sized ship of the Kun Chamber of Commerce out to sea as Saeed. Not far away on the sea, he met the ship sent by the Ladeo family fleet. This time, the Ladeo family sent a group of dwarf slaves. After handing over to the other party, Xiaoming saw that the half-orc crew on his ship were all soldiers, and they would not tell on the secret. So Xiaoming secretly kept all the slaves. These are all soldiers who can fight at sea. In addition, he paid out of his own pocket and got some ordinary human goods to replace these slaves. As for what to do if it is exposed in the future. Cold. Saeed is a fool, isn't it normal to intercept some goods privately? This time he was able to take out some goods to fill it, which is very sensible. If the Kun Chamber of Commerce knew about this, the first feeling would be relief, not anger. After delivering the task to the Chamber of Commerce, Saeed asked for a long vacation. The world is so big, I want to see it. The head of the Chamber of Commerce hurriedly agreed. This is a great thing that can't be asked for. Because Saeed has a backer, the head of the Chamber of Commerce branch can only endure it. The position he occupies also delayed the promotion of other orcs. Now Saeed took the initiative to ask for leave, and the Chamber of Commerce branch is going to open champagne to celebrate. This idiot is finally gone. As for Saeed's initiative to spend money to buy all the slaves of various races that the Chamber of Commerce has not sold, the Chamber of Commerce doesn't mind at all, and doesn't care where this guy's money comes from. Of course, Xiaoming will not be so kind as to let all these slaves go, or even give them some travel expenses. That would be a bit stupid. Xiaoming just promoted these slaves to his subordinates and let them work for him temporarily. After they earn their own worth, they can consider whether to continue working for the researcher or leave. Almost all of these slaves were transported from the sea, and most of them can be crew members. Those who cannot be crew members can also be soldiers of the researcher himself. Among them, there are only 3 elderly people and 8 children, who are either too old or too young to sail. However, their relatives are the crew members of the researcher. For this reason, Xiaoming also left 2 adult female NPCs to take care of this group of old and young. These 13 NPCs can just live in the yard rented by Saeed. This move did have the effect of winning people's hearts. Some NPCs who have the ability to sail and can serve as navigators or even generals took the initiative to stand up. Xingyi Long Xiuopeng, a second-level dwarf general. Now 25 years old, an illegitimate child of a dwarf family in Kyushu Island, Japan. The family was killed by pirates from the island because of a family heirloom. Xingyi Long is an illegitimate child, not valued by the family, and not valued by the pirates. No one knows his identity. The direct bloodline of the family was killed. Xingyi Long and other family members were sold as slaves. These nearly 100 hammer dwarves are all naval soldiers of level 1-2. It is rare to see someone fighting a naval battle with a hammer. Now Xingyi Long was first rescued by the researcher, and he thought the researcher was a good person. Besides, he also wanted to help these dwarves gain a good position. Especially when he knew that the driller belonged to the enemy of the Rice Hima family, the pirates of the Li family. There was nothing to hesitate about. Xingyi Long took the initiative to reveal his identity as a general and join the driller. Favorability 40. This guy is actually a versatile person in the field of navigation, and his qualities in all aspects are good. In particular, he has a special racial talent, ship capture. Xingyi Long is very capable in boarding battles. If he leads a charge team, It is easy to take down the opponent's ship at a lightning speed, jingle bells. So that the opponent can't even destroy the ship in time. In other words, he has a higher chance of grabbing the enemy's ship than other naval heroes or generals. This talent is quite powerful in naval battles. Xiao Ming immediately appointed him as the captain of the fleet's charge. The group of dwarves immediately became his subordinates. Barbecue Girl, a dark elf navigator. Favorability 40. Age, identity, and origin are all ominous. Because she and the driller and others don't speak the same language. How did she show up? When she thought the researcher should be a good person, she took the initiative to stand up and gesture to the researcher, indicating that she was hungry. The researcher naturally took out some ascetic barbecue made by the explorer for her to eat. The barbecue was specially strengthened and very delicious. After eating, the girl started to speak bird language. After talking for a long time, no one knew what she was talking about. It took a lot of effort to figure out that she was willing to be the chef of the fleet. Everyone tried her cooking skills and found that it was indeed extraordinary. So there was a chef from the Dark Elf tribe in the fleet. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lan Zai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 274. If you have a left arm, you must have a right arm. Suyubi, a human general of level 10, rank 1. He is also a survivor of the massacre of Xingyi Along's family. He is one of the few human generals in the family. Xingyi Along's strength is hand-to-hand combat, while Suyubi's specialty is artillery. He is an excellent gunner. Together with Xingyi Along, they are called the left arm and the right arm. However, this title is more of a joke, and they are not well received by the family. Not many people know that Xingyi Along is an illegitimate child. His father dare not take care of him too much, fearing that someone will find out about the trick. But privately, his father treats him very well. Otherwise, he would have no chance to grow up. It's just that he is ignored on the surface. So Xingyi Along didn't feel that the family had let him down. After the family was destroyed, he still wanted to destroy the Lateo family for revenge. It would be best if he could revive the family again. But Xingyi Along also knew that these were difficult things. If you want to do it, you need the right time, right place, and right people. Suyubi is one of the few good friends of Xingyi Along, although he doesn't know the inside story of this good friend's life. But he has a strong desire for revenge. Suyubi was appointed as the gunner of the fleet by the driller. His favorability towards the driller is also 40 points. Li Ziohe, human navigator. Surveyor of a family merchant fleet of the Ming dynasty. Later, he was captured by pirates of the Kun Chamber of Commerce and became a slave. After being rescued, he became a surveyor of the driller fleet. Favorability 50. Bader, Orc navigator. The original Orc tribe was destroyed. He was sold as a slave. Bader is a rare Orc who doesn't get seasick at sea. But he can only fight, or do some heavy and tiring work, which makes him very suitable to be a stormtrooper or bosun. Orc slaves were originally the most unpopular. Because orcs have such a bad temper, most people dare not buy orcs as slaves. They might be beaten to death with one punch. Xiao Ming was not afraid of this. Batel was beaten to a pulp by Xiao Ming's special forces beast, and he was convinced. So he was appointed as the bosun, responsible for leading people to wipe the deck and maintain the ship every day. Favorability 50. In addition to these talents who became navigators, there were nearly 100 hammer dwarves among the rescued slaves. A dozen human pirate sailors, and 4 dark elf swordsmen of the same race as the barbecue girls. They are all first to second level sea arms. These people greatly enriched the maritime strength of the researchers. They are grateful to the researchers and can be used as their own people. These people are scattered on 5 large ships, which can improve the loyalty of the crews of these ships. Normally, after the researcher becomes an admiral, he can control these 5 large ships. unless there are special circumstances, especially special plots. At that time, if there are only hired sailors on the 4 ships other than the flagship, and there are no people loyal to the admiral, it is easy to go wrong. But with these loyal subordinates, the safety of the 4 ships will be greatly increased. Let's briefly talk about some settings of the admiral identity. The researcher is just a 0 level 5 hero, and his command ability is not high. Even with the 3 generals under his command, Lin Shen, Xin Yulang, and Su Yubi, the total command ability is not very high. And to start a large battleship, at least 200 sailors are needed, and 5 large battleships are 1,000 people. This is just the minimum requirement for starting a battleship. There may also be situations such as battles. So each battleship must have at least 400 to 500 people. And a large battleship can carry tens of thousands of command abilities. The little command ability of the researcher is far from enough. Ordinary heroes are not enough either. At this time, the awesomeness of the admiral identity is shown. The admiral can hire ordinary sailors for his fleet, who can both drive ships and participate in battles. But it is not counted in the command ability of the researcher's own hero, only in the command ability of the fleet. That is to say, the admiral can hire the command of the fleet directly under his command. This will invisibly increase the combat power of the researcher at sea. Of course, these sailors are just to make up the numbers. As a junior admiral, the researcher can only hire sailors up to level 0. Even with the bonus of navigators such as Lin Shen and Xing Yilang, its combat power is still worrying. If a real fight breaks out, the researcher's own troops must be the backbone. In the case of the researcher, he is invincible when encountering players or ordinary low-level NPC heroes. But if he encounters an NPC admiral, he is a piece of cake. On land, if a player becomes a leader-level figure of an army, he will also receive similar treatment. This is also the main direction of the player's efforts. Of course, the admiral status of the researcher is only meaningful on the strategic map. There are other settings on the adventure map. The rules of the game on both sides are different. Xiaoming actually has 2 such leader-level characters now. One is a researcher and the other is a diver. But the power of the diver is too small, so small that it is pitiful. And it has not been recognized by all parties. Therefore, his bonus as a leader will not be too strong for the time being. The driller was really lucky. Not only did he get the status of admiral, but he also got a large warship. These 2 things are things that early players can never get. 5 large warships plus the status of junior admiral have brought the driller's command limit to more than 50,000. During this period, if any player clashed with the driller at sea, he would be unlucky. 50,000 level 0 soldiers, one person spitting can drown him. If it were just medium-sized ships, it wouldn't be so scary. With only 5,000 command power, Xiaoming could be crushed to death by dozens of players. But a fleet composed of 5 large ships cannot be crushed by a simple human wave. If you can't beat a large ship, you can run away. You can't catch up with a small ship, and you can't block it. The big ship can just run over the small ship. In principle, the game has only been started for 2 weeks, and the most players can get on the strategic map is a small ship. They are not eligible to buy medium-sized ships, and they are not eligible to build medium-sized shipyards. As the admiral of the researcher's fleet, you can buy medium-sized ships. But there are no large ships in East Asia. There are some outside of Asia. But it is impossible for people to sell a large battleship, a national treasure, to the researcher, an Asian pirate. So the researcher is now in a very coincidental and powerful advantage. If you change to a professional player, this advantage is money. With the advantage of military strength, he can sweep all the players on the Asian Sea. With this strength, Xiaoming can directly negotiate with those large guilds that are developing on the sea. They need to pay protection fees, otherwise they will be beaten. If any guild can let the current researchers serve them, then becoming the player overlord on the Asian sea surface is as easy as pinching a snail with 3 fingers, it is a sure thing. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 275. The sea is a man's romance, the sky is a man's romance, and the universe is the romance of romance. Zhang Xiaoming, who has tried physical flight in the universe, does not have much passion for the sea in the Magic Planet. However, he is still very interested in the various plots, adventures, and tasks that may happen on the sea. As for attacking other players and dominating the sea, Xiaoming has no interest at all. Can you collect taxes from player organizations? Are you kidding me? Xiaoming's game character has a net worth of tens of millions of gold coins. Which player or union can compare with him at this stage? Why rob these poor guys? Xiaoming certainly understands, because it is only the early stage of the game, and he is lucky to be so arrogant. The waves behind the Yangtze River push the waves in front, and the waves in front die on the beach. Sooner or later, those unions or professional players will catch up with him, surpass him, or even leave him behind. So Xiaoming himself, just be appropriately conceited for a while. Exploring the game is the real thing. The game is still in its early stages, and major professional unions and studios are still in the investment stage. Now the gold coin to Huaxia currency has risen to 133.5. To be honest, 10 million gold coins, combined with Huaxia currency, is more than 300 million. This is a huge sum of money that Xiaoming can't spend in several lifetimes. For a moment, Xiaoming really had an impulse to sell all the gold coins and live a happy life on Pangu Star from then on. The book is over. Unfortunately, this is just a daydream, wishful thinking. Zhang Xiaoming wants to retire and enjoy life. Ask the nine-tailed fox if it will agree, whether the military will agree, whether the families who are eyeing him will agree. 300 million is a huge sum of money for Xiaoming, but it is just pocket money in the eyes of these giants. Xiaoming is qualified to spend money only if he continues to help them with their research. If they are unhappy, Xiaoming will lose his umbrella of protection, and this money can be earned but not spent. Besides, I have seen black technology games, outer space and reincarnation world, I have come into contact with aliens, reincarnations, the underworld black impermanence, and space Zerg. Facing such a wonderful world, how could a normal person still want to retire? The vast and deep universe opened its doors to Xiaoming, welcoming him to explore. Zhang Xiaoming, the otaku, could no longer stay at home. At most, when he went out to explore, he would be a little bit vulgar, and save his life first. Just don't be too extravagant. The world is so big, he really wants to see it. More than 10 million gold coins are the first pot of gold that Xiaoming earned in the game, and it is the capital for his future fortune. He certainly can't sell all of them. But it's okay to sell a small part, but the small part must be sold in batches. Xiaoming has only sold more than 100,000 gold coins for the time being, adding 5 million to his wallet. Not only are all debts cleared, but he can also consider buying a house and a car. According to the routine of movies, TV shows and novels, if Xiaoming goes out to buy a car and a house at this time, he will definitely encounter the opportunity to pretend to be cool and slap his face. However, this idea only stayed in Xiaoming's mind for 5 seconds and then disappeared. How can I be so free? I might as well play games and see the secret realm when I have time. Now that I have money, do I have to do the house and car buying myself? Find an agent and pay some money, and I guarantee that everything will be done for you. Besides, we live well here now, and moving is so troublesome. The car is even more useless to me. I just bought it and it will just sit there and collect dust. Why bother? Oh. By the way, my sister can buy something, a smart program. This is a powerful tool for the game. But Xiao Ming didn't know his sister's game character and ID, so he had to transfer 2 million to her account and leave a message to remind her to buy a smart program. Later, I received a slightly contemptuous reply from Xiao Jing'er. People already have smart programs, and there is no need for Xiao Ming to remind them. Great, sister. I really impressed my brother. But since you don't need to buy it, you can return the money. Rightward arrow Xiao Jing'er said, I'll give you a look, and you can experience it yourself. Well, the 2 million is a waste of money. But Xiao Ming really didn't expect that his sister actually had a smart program early. It seems that she has developed quite well in the game. And it was actually because of my sister that I saw the reincarnation space. Could it be that she is the protagonist? Xiao Ming was thinking wildly while equipping the direct troops of the researcher with crossbows. Forget about those zero-level sailors, there are too many of them, and Xiao Ming finds it troublesome. Moreover, the battle at sea is mainly artillery battles, and bows and arrows are of little use. Equipping crossbows is just to give subordinates some advantages in melee. In fact, what the researcher should do most is to use source energy to strengthen these large warships and the artillery on the warships. Xiao Ming has dual source energy. The first level has been used for repair, and the second level can be used for strengthening. However, the transformation of insect eggs by green Xiao Ming requires a lot of source energy. Silver Xiao Ming dare not use too much source energy here, in case the insect eggs suddenly need it, Silver Xiao Ming needs to make up for it immediately. Now large ships are enough, and strengthening will be discussed later. The adventure level of the researcher has been upgraded to level 2. In terms of equipment, Xiao Ming changed the alchemist suit to level 2. All data has been improved. Mainly physical defense and magic defense have been improved. The researcher's weapon has not been changed. The previous weapon was the set of directional enhanced alchemy tools, which gave up the attack power and gained the god level attribute of fine quality rate add 5%. Level 2 alchemy tools are not as good as this. In the past 2 days, Xiao Ming has developed a new type of 4-puppet canoe with the set of alchemy tools. There is one reconnaissance puppet add 3 pirate puppets on it. At the same time, they are all equipped with strong crossbows. The newly made 4-puppet canoe is faster, more powerful, and has a larger patrol range than the original version. After becoming an admiral, the researcher can make 320 puppet troops with command power every week. Among them, 100 command power shares were given to the Li family pirates, 100 command power shares were used to make 25 new 4-puppet canoes to escort their fleet. The other 120 command power shares were used by Xiao Ming to make 120 level 1 pirate puppets to enrich his fleet. Among them, 1 puppet canoe became a fine product, and the speed increased by 50%. 7 pirate puppets became fine products, and each of them increased a certain attribute by 50%. The Li family's second fleet has now made all the preparations and will set sail on Monday. The explorer's development is a little slow, and he is still moving with his subordinate Han Dong's large force. He still uses the holy image to teleport to Han Dong's side. His own direct troops have not yet landed on the strategic map. Xiao Ming still hopes to help Han Dong lay a good foundation first, and then the explorer will randomly go to other places from the temple to venture out. Blooming everywhere. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 276. Han Dong has been fighting all over the place these days, and his adventure level has risen to level 10, and his follower Chiu Santung is the same. In addition, Han Dong's strategic level has risen to level 13, with 2 points of strategic attack and 1 point of strategic defense. He has learned a new professional talent, primary attack. His action limit and command limit have both increased. The number of troops has also increased. He has recruited many farmers and added some soldiers. The overall development is okay. After the explorer asked Chiu Santung about his wishes, he used the golden statue of the god of light to transfer Chiu Santung to a level 0 archer general, directly under Han Dong's subordinates. It's really a good friend. Chiu Santung can be a hero, but he is willing to be a general under Han Dong. It's really touching. Because the explorer has the racial talent of recruiting ascetics, when he and Han Dong joined forces, many of Han Dong's soldiers directly became ascetics. There are also a large number of farmers in the friendly army who directly became ascetics and took the initiative to join Han Dong's team. Humans and ascetics are compatible, and both believe in the people of the God of Light. Especially these farmers who lost their homes and were rescued by ascetics, they are more compatible with the ascetics. Originally these people were poor people, and after becoming ascetics, their bodies are much stronger than before. Seeing the changes after others became ascetics, more farmers also took the initiative to transform into ascetics. The number is close to half. It took Xiaoming a lot of effort to upgrade the inheritance equipment for these people. It is not good without upgrading, and they rely on their long-range shooting ability. These people unloaded a lot of bows and crossbows, and Xiaoming asked Han Dong to carry them with the army. They will be used in the future when recruiting new soldiers. After this operation, Han Dong's combat effectiveness has become much stronger. Unfortunately, Xiaoming has never seen the seaside he expected. It is absolutely unrealistic to deal with the continuous attacks of orcs on land. Even the terrain of Turtleback Mountain City cannot be defended against powerful orcs. So the only solution Xiaoming could think of was to go out to sea. With the barrier of the sea water and the advantage of his own ships, there was hope of holding on. Xiaoming had not read the part of the late Ming dynasty in the book The Strange Man on the Far Island. Therefore, he did not know that someone had already done this in a parallel universe. Mao Wenlong, the left general of the Ming dynasty and the general of the Ping Liao army, led his troops to stay on the island and ensured his own safety. He would cross the sea to the territory of the Qing dynasty every now and then, fight guerrilla warfare, take advantage and make the Qing dynasty very annoyed. Although Xiaoming did not know this person yet, he would know in the future. Even if he still did not read the part of the late Ming dynasty, the strategic map itself was a magically modified situation of the Ming dynasty, and there was also an NPC named Mao Wenlong here. Since they were all making a living on the sea, they would meet sooner or later in the future. It was just unknown whether they would be enemies or friends when they met. The deceased had finally completed the project of digging the river. There is a wide river from Pingnan City that leads directly to the lake on the edge of the map. I hope there is something else outside the lake. The diver's subordinate Lao Zide has set off with 4 medium-sized warships, 4 generals, and more than 700 undead pirates. They will go to the lake first, and then explore farther. There are abandoned places around here, it's too poor. The diver's instructions to Lao Zide are to try to find the sea. In inland waters such as rivers and lakes, these pirates can't really show their true strength. The sea is the destination of pirates. In the past few days, the dead have also harvested the other 20 or so large warships. The Lao Zide undead pirate army has been expanded to more than 700. And now that he has money, Xiaoming did not hesitate to use the skeleton army specialization scroll on Pingnan City, spending 50,000 gold coins. The most obvious change in the city is, wow, there are so many skeletons. There are suddenly many more skeleton NPCs in the city. The number of other undead races decreased slightly. The most reduced was the vampire race, which had followed the Linmu family for a long time, not as a military unit, but as an NPC. The rest saw that the nature of the entire city had changed, so why bother staying there? It was just right to go to the Linmu family. So Xiaoming helped the Linmu family invisibly. After the skeletons were specialized, the 4 barracks in Pingnan City were transformed into skeleton barracks. Level 1 Ordinary Skeleton Soldiers, Level 2 Skeleton Shield Warriors, Level 3 Skeleton Cavalry, Level 4 Flying Skeleton Soldiers. They can be recruited next Monday. Flying Skeleton Soldiers are the Air Force of the Skeleton Clan. As for the undead like Bone Dragons, they are a faction of their own and do not belong to the Skeleton Clan. When Pingnan City became a skeleton specialized city. The next change was the city that the dead originally occupied, Funnel Village, which is now a city. Funnel City was also transformed into a skeleton specialized city. After waiting for more than a week, the city was successfully transformed. I almost waited until the flowers withered, and now I can finally build advanced barracks. After owning 2 skeleton specialized cities, the system gave a special prompt. The player reported to the dead that he was the first player to own multiple skeleton specialized cities. Please choose whether you are willing to master the racial talent, skeleton specialized. There is nothing to hesitate about. Xiaoming immediately chose to agree. Primary Skeleton Army Specialization, Passive Talent. The attack of the skeleton army under your command is add 5, defense add 5, life add 5, damage add 2, speed add 2. This kind of improvement is almost doubled for the first level skeleton soldiers. It is indeed a very excellent talent. The prerequisite is not low. There must be 2 cities with skeleton army specialization, and the first player to do it must be a player. The next player may not have 2 cities. Xiaoming's plan for the dead is the same as that for the researcher. They are all waiting to set off next Monday, but the dead have repaired a large ship. Xiaoming is still very troubled by the generals who stay behind. The dead have many generals under their command, but they are all generals of the undead. The undead subordinates they lead are not suitable to sort out the things in the 20 or so large ships. The suitable candidates are the human general Zaiyi and his 50 human subordinates. But if the dead want to take a boat to explore the next map, it seems inappropriate for this naval commander not to bring a box of dates. It's really a dilemma. I can only hope that a non-undead hero or general will come to the tavern next Monday. However, Xiaoming himself knows that this is a luxury. A non-undead hero would have to be crazy to run to the city of the undead. However, this is the only city in the abandoned land, so there may not be no hope. It's just that the hope is not great. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 277. These 2 days, Yin Xiaoming continued to explore the secret realm. Without the cooperation of Green Xiaoming, his behavior naturally became much more honest. He dared not to recklessly go around. And considering that the Chu galaxy might need help at any time, Yin Xiaoming always had to ensure that more than half of the source energy was left. So Xiaoming has been developing in the secret realm these 2 days. It should be good. Unfortunately, the more timid Xiaoming is, the more trouble he will encounter. Several characters in the secret realm have died. In the Great Sword secret realm with demons and female swordsmen. The character died because of the battle between the Great Sword and the demon in the distance. Xiaoming only then knew that the combat power of the demons in this secret realm could be so strong that no attack was directed at him, but a little aftermath killed him. 3 seconds after Xiaoming's circle discovered the shock wave, he died. Xiaoming didn't even have time to think. In the One Piece secret realm full of navy and pirates, Xiaoming's character, Bald Rag, died in a battle between pirates and the navy. Xiaoming thought he was familiar with naval battles and could handle it. Besides, he was not a soldier yet, so he didn't have to participate in the battle. It was very safe. Unexpectedly, he was bitten to death by a poisonous snake while hiding in the cabin. The snake killed him instantly, and Xiaoming didn't have time to use his energy to save himself. Who brought the poisonous snake to the ship? He hadn't bitten anyone to death in these days, so why was he so unlucky? Xiaoming's circle actually discovered the poisonous snake, but at the same time, he also discovered that there were thousands of pirates and navy fighting outside. The scene was so exciting, and the average combat power of this secret realm was so strong that Xiaoming was fascinated. The little snake didn't attract his attention at all. He relaxed his vigilance on the battlefield, so his death was not unjust this time. The poisonous snake was also released by the enemy. In the secret realm of Galaxy Romance, Xiaoming was also attacked by a strange creature that suddenly appeared during a border patrol mission, and his ship was destroyed and people died. This kind of thing happened again and again. Xiaoming failed in many secret realms. Even in those secret realms where he didn't die, his character didn't do well. Xiaoming was a little doubtful about his life. Was it because he made money that the game system was unhappy with him? Was he deliberately trying to balance his luck? Xiaoming thought too much. In fact, under normal circumstances, most players would probably end up like this in secret realms. Secret realms are actually somewhat similar to time travel. It is normal for a person to not do well when he suddenly travels to an unfamiliar environment. If the secret realm is in a turbulent time, then it is even more normal to die. It is rare to be invincible as soon as you travel. To do well in the early stage of time travel, you either already know the plot, or you have a powerful golden finger, or you have unbeatable luck. There are not many normal time travelers who can stand out in the early stage. However, the time travel protagonists described in any film and television works and online novels are basically those who do well. Why can a person who travels but doesn't live for more than 3 days be the protagonist? That can't be written into a book. In fact, the same is true for the biographies of successful people in society. Only a few succeed, and most fail. It's just that most of the failed people are unknown to the world. Xiaoming is just a nerd loser. If he travels through time, if he doesn't have a golden finger, he might live for 3 days. But he basically won't stand out. He'll just continue to be a loser in a different world. Now that his golden finger is greatly restricted, his true ability level is revealed. He is indeed a rookie. Of course, this is also related to the characteristics of Xiaoming's golden finger. Source energy is not an explosive superpower. It is not something that can be used in a crisis and immediately turn defeat into victory. Source energy is used to slowly accumulate one's strength. If the strength is strong, many crises will no longer be crises. Xiaoming has not used it much these 2 days because he wants to keep the source energy for backup. He has not accumulated strength, so any small thing may become a crisis. Source energy is not good at bursting. When a crisis comes, Xiaoming will naturally be out of luck. However, not all secret realms are miserable. There is one secret realm where Xiaoming is doing well. That is the secret realm of the god of death. Xiaoming has entered the secret realm once before. His character's name is Lin Tai. Before his death, he was a figurine tinkerer like Brother Wen. Xiaoming learned the combination structure of the Claude 6 style combination sword here. After his death, Lin Tai turned into a monster called Hollow. Xiaoming's original character was this monster. According to the script, he was supposed to go crazy with this monster and then be hunted by the god of death in this world. Even if he didn't go crazy, such a big monster would be hunted by the god of death. But Xiaoming used source energy to control the impulse of the Hollow to eat people, and even turned back to human form. Therefore, he escaped the disaster of death at that time. When he entered the secret realm for the second time, he was targeted by the big Hollow in this secret realm. It was difficult for him not to be targeted in this situation. The big Hollow sent a few low-level Hollows to test him. Xiaoming's fighting ability was not good, and he was even more unaccustomed to fighting with the body of the Hollow. He didn't even have the spiritual pressure under control. He was killed on the spot. The big Hollow was very sorry, thinking that this Hollow who turned into a human form was a very powerful guy. In the end, he was just a useless person and a waste of time. At this time, Xiaoming was also extremely depressed and had a tendency to explode. This is too bullying. When you are at home, disasters come from the sky. How many times have you died? So Xiaoming entered the secret realm of the god of death again out of anger. We know that Xiaoming's game cabin was later upgraded by the nine-tailed fox. The new game cabin will make Xiaoming's character closer to the main storyline. In fact, his multiple deaths in the past 2 days are also partly due to the upgrade of the game cabin. His previous roles in the secret realm were all marginal characters, and he should have slowly explored the secret realm and gradually approached the main storyline. However, because of the upgrade of the game cabin, the system forcibly pulled this marginal character to the vicinity of the main storyline, and it is normal that he is not acclimatized. If Xiaoming's source energy is fully opened, and the most important thing is that he can summon Xiaohe, his combat effectiveness is still guaranteed. Unfortunately, it is not possible in the past 2 days. So it is difficult. In the case of Lin Tai, it is the Hueco Mundo that recruits him. If he performs better or more special, he may be mixed into the forces of the Hueco Palace. The situations in the other secret realms were similar. In the Great Sword secret realm, he sensed that there was a battle ahead. If he took the initiative to approach and show himself in front of the Great Sword or the demon, if he showed a little ability, he would probably be recruited or captured. It was considered to be the main plot. But Xiaoming retreated at this time. Alas, he was courting death. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 278. Entering the God of Death realm for the second time. Xiaoming's new identity is a new God of Death in Soul Society, Ishida Mingta, a freshman at the God of Death school. In his class is one of the protagonists of this secret realm, Rukia Kukaki. The God of Death is a state of soul body, a special life form in this secret realm. With ordinary levels of circle and concentration, it is really hard to see the life energy of the God of Death. But Xiaoming's telekinesis is different. With source energy mixed in his telekinesis, it is not difficult for him to see the specialness of Rukia Kukaki. But he didn't pay much attention. Because a place like school is really the most suitable place for him. There are people here who systematically teach the supernatural power of this world, which attracts Xiaoming more than any main plot. For this reason, Xiaoming did not hesitate to use some source energy to give himself spiritual pressure. Instantly join the ranks of good students. The spiritual pressure is only slightly different from other supernatural energies. Maybe there is really not much difference in essence, but it may also be that the simulation in the secret realm is not clear enough. In short, the spiritual pressure is mastered by Xiaoming. He also learned about the concepts of white fighting, ghost way, broken way, and bound way. He had not yet touched advanced things like Zanpakuto. Feeling that this secret realm has great potential for development, Yin Xiaoming made a prompt decision and saved and exited. This opportunity cannot be wasted. Next time, I must bring Green Xiaoming to study together, so that the efficiency will be higher. Xiaoming also specially opened the spiritual pressure of his real body in reality. He found that this spiritual pressure is not picky, and both yin and spiritual energy can help it grow. For this reason, Xiaoming stayed in Guangmingding for a long time and improved a lot of spiritual pressure. After the king of insects was hatched, Xiaoming's mental power soared. He also had a powerful body. While Green Xiaoming was controlling the king of insects, riding the insect dragon, and busy finding a place to live for himself, Yin Xiaoming was feeling the changes brought about by the surge in mental power. Naturally, all supernatural abilities related to mental power have been greatly enhanced. And basically, all special supernatural powers are related to mental power. So in addition to the source energy, the various supernatural energies that Xiaoming mastered increased significantly with the surge of mental power. But it was unstable. The sudden expansion of energy made Xiaoming feel very uncomfortable, as if his body was about to be stretched apart. So he stayed in Guangmingding all the time, using the rich spiritual energy here to calm the energy in his body. The law of the universe is that water flows to lower places. When the energy outside is higher than the energy concentration in Xiaoming's body, the energy in the body automatically calms down. Taking this opportunity, Xiaoming built a network of energy structures around the silver source energy and mental power. Magic power, telekinesis, chakra, force, death spirit pressure, Taoist spiritual energy, etc., all these energies are connected in a big network. Not only can source energy and mental power provide supplies for other energies, but various energies can also be transformed and flow into each other through the blessing of source energy. Xiaoming even consumed a little bit of source energy to keep this mutual flow running. In this way, there will be no unexpected harm to Xiaoming's body due to the sudden increase of a certain energy. Green Xiaoming also built such an energy network in the body of the insect king. The silver network and the green network can also communicate with each other to a certain extent. After all, they are the soul of the same person. So the energy that Xiaoming's silver energy network can't hold is just transferred to the green energy network of the insect king. The body of the insect king originally has magic power, but other energy systems are basically empty, just filled with these external energies. These things are easy to say, but it is quite difficult to do them. It took Xiaoming about 10 hours. Xiaoming just barely sorted out the two energy networks, and the time is about to reach 0 o'clock on Monday. It's time to prepare to enter the reincarnation world. For temporary reincarnationists, the reincarnation space needs to be treated with caution. What world is more appropriate to throw them into? The power level of that world cannot be too strong, and temporary reincarnationists must have the strength to fight. If they are thrown into the prehistoric world, the battle between gods and demons, it would be murder. At the same time, the reincarnations must be able to learn something. If some of them are capable, they can learn something more powerful or get some bloodline. There must be fighting in that world. Without fighting, the reincarnations will have no pressure. The fighting cannot be too intense, otherwise the temporary reincarnations will not survive. How can the reincarnation space be described as a nanny? In fact, the reincarnation space only considers the situation a little bit. There is no special care for temporary reincarnations. The first few worlds are generally worlds that can be dealt with by hot weapons. Let the reincarnations accumulate some points and strength first, and then seek development. The first mission world of the Mingjing team is Underworld 1. Relatively speaking, this world is not suitable for the mission world of temporary reincarnations. However, the Mingjing team has a slightly higher average combat effectiveness because of the addition of Kraken and Yujian Guanghan Zhao Zhu. This is because classmate Zhang Xiaoming is not counted. In a secret base, a group of well-trained human agents are accepting tasks issued by the superior. In fact, there are 16 temporary reincarnations who are accepting the tasks issued by the space. The Mingjing team gathered together, a total of 6 people. Zhang Xiaoming and the Insect King's 2 bodies were both teleported here by the reincarnation space. Fortunately, Lu Xiaoming had been prepared before. He used the transformation technique to transform the Insect King into a masked man in black. This did not cause panic among other reincarnations. Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen were already immune to Xiaoming's tricks, and the 2 newcomers had extraordinary origins and did not care about such trivial matters. 2 of the other 10 temporary reincarnations actually knew someone. One was Zhao Yongmeng, the Thing Guardian who participated in the novice mission together last time. The other was Li's 9th daughter Li Songrui. Xiaoming did not know her real identity and name. He only knew her game name Tang Li Yuanji. I didn't expect that this little girl who was scared offline by me at the beginning could also become a reincarnation. I really can't tell. Around her, there were 2 other people, One was Zhao Yongmeng, and the other was also a very strong man. Zhao Yongmeng also noticed several people in Mingjing's team, and there was a little surprise in his eyes. He was wondering how these newcomers were qualified to enter the same mission world as him. Although Brother Zhao was also a newcomer, he was an elite in the military and believed that he should be stronger than these citizens. However, he reacted quickly and his surprise flashed across his face. He even raised his hand to say hello. If the voice of the space releasing the mission had not sounded at this time, he would have come over to chat for a while. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 279. All temporary reincarnations received the first mission, find a supernatural creature and defeat him within 3 days. Most people are confused about the background of this mission world. Xiaoming has never entered a similar secret realm. The only one who knows a little about the situation is Zhang Wen. He once randomly went to the secret realm of Underworld 1. He was killed by a werewolf. But because his game cabin is a popular version, the name of the secret realm is not displayed. So he doesn't know that secret realm, which is the current reincarnation world. Since no one provides information about this secret realm, so everyone decided to form teams at will, disperse, and go to the city to find clues. Try to come back here to gather and exchange information tomorrow night. That being said, whether the person who finds the clue will come back is completely unknown. Since they are special forces, the government provides each of them with special combat uniforms, helmets, pistols, submachine guns, grenades, daggers, ammunition, and other special forces equipment. None of these people were polite, and all the weapons were in their hands. Special combat uniforms and helmets, some people put them on, and some people didn't wear them because they thought they were ugly. The people in Mingjing's team and Zhao Yongmen's people were not wearing special combat uniforms. Some of them were skilled and brave, while others were fearless. Zhao Yongmen was about to reminisce with Zhang Xiaoming and others, but Li Songrui ran to Xiaoming first. He looked Xiaoming up and down. He said, "You are an explorer. Can't you recognize me? I am Li Yuanji of the Tang Dynasty. You sold me something." The Tang Dynasty Guild. Xiaoming had recognized her a long time ago, but he didn't speak as fast as her, so he couldn't get a word in. Miss Ju thought Xiaoming hadn't recognized her yet, so she was a little anxious and spoke even faster. She also didn't forget to thank Xiaoming. "Thanks to your things, especially that thing. I completed my mission very well. If you have any problems in the future, just come to me, I'll protect you." Hearing her speak so fast, I was a little worried that she would be out of breath. Xiaoming quickly interrupted, "Little beauty, I remember you, remember you. I will definitely look for you if I have something in the future. By the way, why did you come here?" Li Songrui is only 13 years old, still a little girl. Xiaoming is more than 30 years older than her, and it is more than enough for her to be her elder. Calling her a little beauty is not considered teasing. It's just that Xiaoming forgot that he looks only about 20 years old now. But almost everyone present knows his real age. So no one is surprised. Zhao Yongmeng had secretly told another big man about Zhang Xiaoming's information before. Only Li Songrui didn't know that being called a little beauty by someone who looked so young made the little girl feel a little indignant. She took a deep breath and wanted to choke. Cough, 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 mistakenly thinking that Miss Nine was going to tell everything, the other big man quickly coughed twice. He took over the conversation. "Hey, what else can I do? We are all selected. I haven't introduced myself yet. I am the world is for the public. I didn't ask." As he spoke, the big man saluted Xiaoming and others with a fist. He was so pretentious, probably because he had entered too many ancient secret realms. Xiaoming quickly responded, "How dare I am an explorer, and my nickname in the reincarnation space is the leader." He was being polite, but he was secretly complaining, "You, a D-level reincarnationist, are pretending to be a temporary reincarnationist here, you must have ulterior motives." Then he thought that he seemed to be the same as him, also pretending to be a temporary reincarnationist, let alone the second brother. "But your naming skills are too poor. World Siege? What an unlucky name." Xiaoming thought of his name wrong. This misunderstanding lasted for a long time. A D-level reincarnationist could not hide from Xiaoming's eyes, and Xiaoming could easily perceive the strength of the person in front of him. And judging from his behavior and life energy, it seems that he is here to protect this little lowly. This family should be quite strong to be able to invite a D-level reincarnationist to protect it. Xiaoming didn't know what the market of D-level reincarnationists was like, and it was difficult to judge for the time being. Zhao Yongmeng is a military man, but he took the initiative to stand beside this young lady. If they didn't know each other for a long time, then her family's strength also has a considerable influence in the military. Xiaoming thought to himself that the family behind this young lady is really not to be offended. It's better to try to go along with her. "Why are you two pretending to be so smart? Speak nicely." Miss Li was dissatisfied. The two criticized together. And it was actually right, and it was a lucky coincidence. The two men who had hidden something were a little embarrassed after hearing this. Zhao Yongmeng quickly changed the subject. "Master, I know that you three know each other, but who are these three?" He was referring to the new members of Mingjing team, Kraken and Yujian Guanghan Zhaozhu. And the black-clothed man who was transformed from Xiaoming's second body, the Insect King. Zhang Wen and Xiao Jing'er had heard about it from Xiaoming a long time ago. So Brother Wen took the initiative to introduce it. When it came to the black-clothed man, Lu Xiaoming called himself Master Guard. It was not allowed to mention that Xiaoming had formed the Mingjing team, nor was it allowed to mention that these new members took the initiative to join the team. Zhang Wen had to be vague about it. Zhao Yongmeng was also a perceptive person. He knew that the other party was unwilling to reveal the details, so he did not ask. After introducing themselves to each other, several people began to discuss how to do the task. Tianxia Yigang thought that everyone could be divided into groups according to their strength. Those who think they are strong enough can be in a group of one person, those who are slightly weaker can be in a group of two, the worst ones can be gathered together. At the same time, he actually took out 9 walkie-talkies and distributed them to everyone. Xiaoming secretly admired, "Brother, you are so well prepared. With the intercom, we can contact each other, and the first task is much easier." After the discussion, the 4 people, Tianxia Weigang, Kraken, Zhao Zhuzhu, and the leader's guard, dispersed. They all flew solo. The remaining people could have been divided into 2 groups, but Miss Li was quite interested in Xiaoming and seemed to be interested in recruiting talents for the Li family, so she had to be in the same group with Xiaoming. Zhao Yongmeng couldn't not follow the eldest lady, Xiao Jing'er was unwilling to leave her brother, and Fatty couldn't go alone, so the remaining 5 people formed a group. This group had the largest number of people and the lowest efficiency. The eldest lady was also interested in everything, making this group like shopping. This task depended on the other few people. Li Songrui and Zhao Yongmeng were full of confidence in the external aid Tianxia Weigang. D-level reincarnations, doing this task is no problem. Xiaoming was full of confidence in Kraken and Zhao Zhuzhu, and Xiaoming had no way to fully judge their strength now. Just based on this point, it would be better than Tianxia Weigang. Moreover, he has more confidence in Lu Xiaoming's Insect King. The Insect King is D-level just by the physical body, and has a mental power that is n times stronger than the physical body. And Xiaoming has many abilities. Xiaoming can't accurately judge at what level the Insect King is among the reincarnations. Sea level. B level, or even received the full attendance bonus from Gideon. This is the first time that Lazy House has made money by writing books. I am very happy. Lazy House's manuscript fee is just a fraction of it. Gideon has to pay for Lazy House's bonus out of its own pocket. To express gratitude, I specially added another chapter. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 280. The city we are in right now is called Night City. It is the battlefield of vampires and werewolves. On the top of the tallest building in Night City, the King of Zurg is standing here pretending to be cool. Fortunately, the mission started at night. The King of Zurg, who gave up his disguise, still looked mysterious and majestic. If it was in broad daylight, he would be so stupid that it would be unbearable to look at. The King of Zurg came to the highest point to test his skills. Before, in the Chu galaxy. On the physical level, the King of Zurg rode a flying dragon to find a new home, but failed for the time being. On the spiritual level, in addition to cooperating with Yin Xiaoming to integrate the energy network, he always maintained a spiritual force to search for excellent skills in the spiritual power ocean of the Zurg. After giving up 2 small skills, the third one finally encountered a useful skill. It is also a necessary skill for the Zurg master, scanning the map. How to fight without a map? No matter what race it is, they know the importance of intelligence. Even humans had maps and sand tables in the cold weapon era. Then the advanced races that can conduct space wars must have their own way of opening maps. Needless to say, the races on the technological side have various radars, telescopes, and reconnaissance aircraft. The New Han Kingdom is still a toddler in this regard. Supernatural races like the Zurg rely on their powerful mental power and the skills derived from mental power. Zurg mental power skill scan map, consumes mental power. The scanning range is determined by the skill issuer, that is, Green Xiaoming. Within the scanned area, any details will be clearly presented in Xiaoming's mind. The mental power scan of the 6th level overlord also has the ability to resist invisibility. And it will continue to observe the scanning range for a period of time, and the duration is also determined by Xiaoming himself. The larger the scanning range, the longer the duration, and the more things in the range, the greater the consumption of mental power. And the consumption is doubled. Of course, for the Zurg, a race with networked mental power, scanning the map is more advantageous. If there are Zurgs dominated by Xiaoming or Zurgs willing to help within the scanning range, then the scanning range will be greatly expanded and the consumption will be reduced. But at this time, you have to be more careful. Sometimes the Zurg who helps you will deceive you, and the low-level Zurg may not be able to counter stealth. These are all things to pay attention to. Consuming the same amount of mental power, scanning in space, the scanning range will be very large, because there is really too much space. Scanning on the surface of the planet, there will be dense objects here, most planets have an atmosphere, and the scanning range will be much smaller. And the part of the mental power that scans deep into the ground will not be able to continue after a short distance, and the consumption is really too great. This is why the Zurg king ran to the highest point of the city, not just to show off. Compared with the circle of telekinesis, the Zurg's scanning map is less accurate, but the range is far greater, and the consumption is also far greater. This difference also stems from the different fundamental purposes of the two skills. Scanning the map is a skill specially developed by the Zurg ancestors for large-scale army battles. The circle of telekinesis is for small-scale fights. There is no war in the Hunter secret realm, only quarrels. At most, it involves 100 or 80 people. We can't force a comparison between the two skills, we can only say that they both achieve their respective purposes perfectly. Xiaoming has of course considered using the two skills together, but his own mental power is not stable yet, so the matter of integrating skills can only be discussed later. After scanning the entire city, Xiaoming believes that the reincarnation world, at least the current Underworld 1 world, is simply created by the reincarnation space itself. Because it was the first time Xiaoming used the mental power skill, he used more mental power. He probed several kilometers underground, but it was not over yet. But the sky was over, and the mental power was blocked before it reached the satellite orbit. There was still room for maneuver, but he couldn't scan higher. Depressed, Xiaoming also wanted to scan the moon. Therefore, Xiaoming felt that this world should not be big, and those suns, stars, etc. were background boards. So this world can only be created by the reincarnation space. 3. Scio, I have to say, Xiaoming is being too smart again. But this is not surprising. In fact, most of human cognition and judgment are self-righteous. Xiaoming is just one of the common people. In fact, this world was indeed created by the reincarnation space. But it is definitely not just this little bit. It's just that the reincarnation space wrapped this little bit with a barrier and used it as the mission world of this group of temporary reincarnations. Other places are naturally used as mission worlds for other reincarnations. It's not surprising that there are hundreds of similar cities on this planet. As for why the moon was isolated. Because a group of reincarnations need to go to the moon to do a mission. That is the mission world when the moon is dark. Let's not talk about the moon for now. Xiaoming feels that this world of underworld is quite interesting. To say that these two groups of supernatural creatures are also brain holes. They are all powerful races. The world is so big, they should go out and see it. First, find a place to establish a base. If you really want to fight, it's not too late to fight each other after you have a stable base. Why bother? The leaders and headquarters of the two groups are in the same city. Fighting for no reason not only has a high mortality rate, but it is also easy to get implicated if you are not careful. What's more, due to the frequent fighting between each other, it naturally attracted the attention of humans. Humans are the real rulers. There are two forces that often fight in their own territory. If they don't know this, these human leaders are all pig brains. It is easy for a few individual supernatural creatures to conceal their identities. But if they form a force, it is basically impossible to conceal. Xiaoming didn't know that there was no human force in the original work, but the reincarnation space specially added the human force for the convenience of the reincarnationists. Killing a vampire or a werewolf. It is the first task of all reincarnationists. There is also the meaning of choosing a camp. After choosing a camp, there is a chance to get the bloodline of this camp. Vampires and werewolves are also common bloodlines of reincarnationists. In the early stage, the combat effectiveness can be quickly improved, and the scope of application is quite wide. It is a bit weak in the middle and late stages, but it may not be without room for improvement. Although the difficulty of improvement in the later stage is higher. But the reincarnationists must survive the early stage first, right? Even if they cannot be improved in the later stage, they are still middle and high-level reincarnationists. It's better than being eliminated in the early stage. For the reincarnators who are not interested in bloodline, they can choose the human camp. Fight both vampires and werewolves, and then get benefits from the human high level. On the human side, there is definitely no reward for bloodline, but the things on the technology side are still good.